sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence. Spend our life searching for the sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Anxious earth is rising. Anxious earth is rising. I'm so happy.
We spend our life searching for the sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Hey, Double Tribble here. How is everyone? Everybody all right? Yeah, I hope so. My stream seems like it's all right. I just checked my sync. I'm in sync. How about that? Yeah, my name is Ron. I live in rural New Hampshire. Rural New Hampshire. But I'm not a juror yet. I've lived here a long time, and they haven't called me up for jury duty yet. It's kind of weird. Well, we don't have not a lot of conflicts in New Hampshire, so yeah, it's a rural area here. I've got surrounded by forests, and there are wild animals, and it's pretty cool. So I started streaming 2 months ago, and mostly I like to stream about science and film, science fiction film, animals, of course, because there's a lot of animals around here, physics and science and stuff like that. I do experiments sometimes, a lot of different stuff. IRL, every once in a while I'll walk around here and take pictures and stuff. It's not really IRL. We don't have, I live somewhere, we don't even have cell service here. That's how far remote this is. But anyway, so, oh yeah, I'm NeuroD, so you probably, I got social dyslexia, so that might come up as we're streaming here. Also, this is a live thing. This is a live broadcast on Twitch. If you're watching this on the VOD somewhere, like YouTube or wherever, this is a live stream. So it's not edited. It's not like a typical video that you'd see on YouTube, you know, where things move real fast, and I'll edit it and all that. Every once in a while, maybe I'll take something that I'm doing on the live stream and I'll edit it down and put it up on the YouTube channel. But yeah, the YouTube channel is at doubletribble-yt, and here on Twitch it's double tribble, spelled just how it sounds. And if I do make a video, if I do edit something down and make a video or something, usually I do that with my movie reviews. I'll slice and dice those down, make those a little bit nicer. If I do that, I put them on KXQE on YouTube. That's KXQE, like K as in K. X as in xylophone. That's not Z. X as in xylophone. Xylophone starts with an X. QE. Queen Elizabeth. How's that? Okay. KXQE. That's where you can find my videos. So I don't know what I was going to talk about. The title of the stream is Ghosting POTUS, which I thought was pretty funny. You know, there's a lot of counter programming going on, you know, whenever this happens. This isn't actually the State of the Union. It's not. That's not what this is. You know what? I should probably, before I get into my thing, just because I want to explain what, you know, I'm doing, why I put Ghosting POTUS. Ghosting POTUS. I want to. I do that. I try to avoid listening to what that guy has to say. First, because he lies all the time, and second, because because he lies all the time. It's harmful, and also that's how he gets his power. He gets his power from people listening to him. The more people he can reach, the more people he can get to listen to him, the more he can manipulate people, and et cetera, et cetera. So I avoid that. I don't get manipulated because I don't listen to him. But I did want to point out that in the Constitution, there's a Constitution. It says in here, I had another copy of that somewhere, better copy, but that's okay. It says in the Constitution that that's one of the things that the president can do. The president doesn't have a lot of power, really. He doesn't have, according to the Constitution. We're not following the Constitution very closely these days. But according to the Constitution, he doesn't have a lot of things that he can do, or she. And one of the things that he can do is he can call the Congress into session. Let's see if I can find that here. Yeah, I don't know. Fill up vacancies. Yeah, I don't know. I should look that up before the stream. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's one of the. If you look on Article 2, Constitution's broke into five different sections. Actually 6, but 6 or 7 if you look. But Article 1 is about Congress. That's the Senate and the House of Representatives. Article 2 in the Constitution is about the executive branch, which is the president. Article 3 is about the Supreme Court. And then Article 4 is about the states, I think. Let me look here. Oh no, this is Article 4 is just. Oops, that was 6. Let me see here. I'm pretty sure that's what Article 4 is. Yeah, it's about the states. Because we're federal government, right? So you got the 3 branches of government, and those are the federal government, and then you got the states. Live long and prosper, U.S. So, and then Article 5 is how to amend the Constitution, which we haven't done in a long time. On average, the U.S. has amended its Constitution about once every 20 years. And if you average out the Bill of Rights, the first 10 in the beginning, it's about every 12 years, something like that, or 13 years. I don't know. I haven't done the math lately, but it's been like decades. It's been since the last time we had a new amendment to the Constitution was in 1971. So that's like what 50? No, 71, 81, 91, 01, 11, 21. Yeah, over 50 years, 54 years since we've had an amendment, a new amendment to the Constitution. There was another. It's kind of complicated. There was one that got snuck in there in the 1990s. That was actually a very, very old amendment that got ratified in the 1990s. But in terms of new law, written law, it's 1971 was the last time we updated the Constitution. So it's stale. It's been stale for a long time. Anyway. So that was Article 5 now. And Article 6 is, what is Article 6? Article 6 is about debts. Oh, and it basically says that this is the Constitution and take it or leave it. And then Article 7 is about how to make it. Is just saying that, yeah, it's how it's getting ratified. So, and one of the things I'm going to get to is, I said, POTUS doesn't have that much power. And one of the things he can't raise taxes. He can't do that by himself. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to do, I was thinking about what to do on this stream, and I think what I want to do is just kind of go through some old stuff that I did and didn't complete in the stream, or was kind of left hanging, and maybe people had questions about it. Probably not, but I wanted to answer them anyway. But this. Remember this thing? Remember this guy? I built this. Well, I built another one. That had a. It's inside this thing here. This is a solar-powered air purifier. And what it does is, I got a fan. This is a CPU fan, I think. That's just a chassis, or maybe that's a CPU fan, an older CPU fan. I'm not sure. But it has a CPU fan, and then you plug the power from the CPU fan up to the solar panel, and it runs. And so whenever the sun comes out, that thing will spin. And you'll notice in my streams, if I stream during the day, that thing will be spinning around if the sun is out. But at night it doesn't. And so I had another one that I made, and I had it in my bedroom, and I thought, oh, I'll use this to freshen the air in my bedroom or whatever in order to get the particles out. And it worked. It was working really good. And I had it hooked up to a solar panel that was actually bigger than the solar panel that one is on. So this thing really ripped this fan here. Anyway, I was doing something, moving cables around, doing something, and I had this thing hanging there, and I wasn't paying attention, and it was going full blast. I mean, it was noon, right? It was really going fast, and I went, and somehow it spins this way, right, like this. Whoops, sorry about that. It spins like this, and it's got these really pointy things on, pointy fan blades. They come to a point. Anyway, wasn't looking, and I went like this, and I got my finger in here, and bam, bamboo up the fingernails type. Here, and it actually broke. It broke the blades, 2 blades off of the fan. And when it happened, because I have done that before. I've actually bumped the fan, before, and these are little fans, and I thought, and it sometimes it hurts, but it's not a big deal. This time it was a big deal. I looked down and it was bleeding. I thought, man, that's never happened before. And I went to start cleaning it out, and it just bleed. It was really bleeding a lot, I want to put a Band-Aid on it, so I wash it, and I go to put the Band-Aid on it, just blood coming out of it. And got a content warning. This is going to get gross. Anyway, so this is the blade that came off of the thing, and this just went like that. And it's actually, it looks pretty good right now. Can I show this? Yeah, content warning. It's not that gross. That's that right there. And it just went like this. This may have even been the one that did it, and it just went up in there. And so I don't think I'm going to lose my fingernail, so that's good. But it's a little warmer, I think, than my other fingers. So there's a little bit of an infection, but not much. So I think it's going to be okay. And it's a little discolored there. It's bruised or whatever. So, you know, but it was that was just really, really something that happened. And I didn't think it could do that. I didn't think it was that dangerous, but it was. So if you tried to make those things, maybe put a cover over it. I may have mentioned that when I did it. I may have said to think about putting a cover over it or something, but you know, my finger actually broke those blades off the thing. So I don't know how I'm going to fix that. I don't know if I can glue these on there. I mean, you know, I have some of that epoxy, you know, super duper epoxy glue, you know, where you mix two different, you got the epoxy and the hardener and you mix them together and it's super duper, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that little fan or not. I should try to do it, right? You always try to repair, right? Instead of getting new or replacing, right? Repair rather than replace, right? Or something. All right. So that's, that was something that happened. So what else was going on? Oh, I did a few streams ago. I did this bell thing. Where's that bell? Here's the bell. I made this alarm bell that you hook you know 12 volts or whatever up to it, and there's an electromagnet and a switch and all that. You can check out the stream if you want to look at the thing. But anyway, this is supposed to go like this, and it's supposed to make this bell ring. And I designed it just in my head, and you know, not really. I didn't like look at. I designed it first in my head, then I went to YouTube, and I didn't see anything on YouTube that would make me change my design. So I went with the design that I had to begin with. But there were all kinds of things that I was doing wrong or needed to change. The first thing, number one, was the wire that I used. I used this 17 gauge wire, which is too big. It's supposed to be smaller wire. It's not supposed to be this big because there's no resistance in this wire, which means that I can't get a lot of turns, which means the wire is going to be shorter. This is only about 1 meter long, which means it's just a tiny fraction of, not even 1% of an ohm, I think is what it was, which means it's going to have really, really high current and get hot. So yeah, if there's a lot of current, the more current, the hotter it gets. So that was one problem I did, and I didn't. It wasn't that big of a deal, as long as I didn't run this thing too long. It wasn't a big deal. But so I should have used smaller wire, right, and got more turns, because the more turns you put in there, the stronger the magnet. That's another thing. I went through all that in the other thing. Anyway, so that's one of the things that I would change on this. Is use smaller wire, but I don't have smaller wire. The only way I can get smaller wire is to scavenge like a transformer out of something or something, you know, out of a wall wart or something like that. And that was just I didn't want to do that. That's a big pain in the butt. I had this loose wire already, so I went with this. The other thing was this little switch here, this little contact. When it comes up, I don't know if you can see that. So the electromagnet comes on, it dings the bell, and this contact disconnects here. And when it disconnects, the magnet shuts off and it springs back up. It makes contact again. The magnet comes on, it goes down, blah blah blah. Right? That's how it works. The problem was this thing made a lot of sparks. I tried putting this diode in there to suppress that. That didn't work. And one of the problems is that this is carbon steel. I'm pretty sure this nail. and if it has carbon in there, it's going to make the carbon, right? It'll get carbonized, the contacts. Also, when you look at the video, you'll see that there's not only is there an arc here between here, but there's sparks that go flying out. Those sparks are pieces of metal from either this nut or this nail that are coming off because of the plasma of the arc is heating it up so much that and then when it strikes, it's causing it to little bits and pieces to go off, like flint. Like when you take flint, you take iron and you rub it against flint and it sparks. That's what's happening here. It was sparking and making sparks go out all over the place. And if you use a better metal, like silver or something like that, it'll suppress that more. So that's where that was coming from. And that little diode probably wouldn't have helped that anyway. So that was another thing. But the main thing, I think, in terms of making a noise, because I did get this thing to ring, it did work, but that's what it sounded like, right? It didn't make a real bell sound. But if you hit the thing is, if you hit the bell over here on the side, whoops, there you go. If you hit it on the side here, then it makes a real loud bell sound. If you put it up here, it doesn't make. So I screwed up by trying to hit it from the top here or on the side or whatever. That was wrong. I should have designed it so it would hit on the side. And so to do that, I would need to rebuild this entire thing so that the striker is going back and forth horizontally rather than vertically to hit it on the side. So that's another thing I would have to do to redesign it. Anyway, I knew all that when I at the end of that stream, but I was just so frustrated and it was getting cold in here and I was tired and I just said forget. And it was like second. I had to span it over 2 streams to get this thing built, which was insane. It shouldn't have taken that long. So those were the design changes. So if you're following along, you want to build your old bell or whatever, that's what you do. Do it sideways so that it hits the bell on the side. Use small gauge wire so you get a lot of turns. Somebody said that they worked it out and it's about 2 ohms is what you want to go for. I don't know if that's right or not, but it's sounds good, 1 or 2 ohms or whatever. And I actually had to use resistance. I had to use the resistance of this nail here to limit the current because of that. Anyway, so if you're doing your own bell and you want to make your own bell like that, those are the things that you want to do. Those are changes you want to make it work better. So that's the bell. That's the alarm bell. get it designed right. And I'm already bored with it, so I don't want to put any more time into it. I mean, I got it. I did it in my mind, right? I did the changes in my mind. I know what I would need to do. I don't need to actually make them. Maybe if I rebuilt it and did that, I'm sure it would be better. And after I did that, then maybe I'd find some other little thing I could do. Right, iterative design. That's how it works, right? Iterative design. That's how it works. But I got it ringing kind of halfway at the last stream. So if I went the next step, I know it would work. So I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it. I don't need to waste my time anymore. So that was that. I did another thing, new topic. Another stream I did was we played the Woman in the Moon. Woman in the Moon by Frances Lang. And what was her name? Thea Harbo or something like that. Thea Harbo, I think is how you pronounce her name. She was the woman in the moon. but that was a silent film, and I did a little bit of a review of it at the end of the thing, and I think I talked a little bit about how it was kind of, pro woman. It was 20s. That was 1929 when that thing came out, and the 1920s was a big time for women. They were 19th Amendment and all that. So, and that was a worldwide thing, really, right? This was made in Germany, and by that time we had radio and all that, and communication we had telegraph for a long time too. I'm so things were, stuff was spreading around pretty quickly compared to centuries earlier. So when something happened, it happened all over the world. We were like at that time then we were smaller world then. Things were happening. Much bigger than today, but if there's something happening in one part of the country, it was happening in another part of the country. The Soviet Union, I mentioned that in my last stream. They were formed in the 20s, and the communists, did their thing, and that was happening here too. The same thing was happening. We had the progressive era here, but there was also a lot of anti-communist sentiment too. So that didn't happen here. But the women's liberation thing that happened all over. That happened in Germany, and it happened here. And one of the things that I noticed, and I don't think I mentioned it in my review of that film, was what was the character's name? Frida, I think was the character's name. She wore men's clothes in that thing. I should probably bring that up, right? This is video. I should be bringing this up and showing you this stuff. Let's see if I can do that here. This will just take a second, but I think it's worth it because then I can actually show you. All right, what do I need here? I need a file manager here. Actually, I think I have a picture of it. Well, maybe I don't. All right, let me see if I can find this here. This will just take a second. No, maybe not. Okay. Hang on. Please stand by. Technical difficulties here. Technical difficulties. Stand by. We'll get this figured out. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. All right. Now I can talk about this. Okay. Look at that. I did something. All right. Let's see here. See if I can find where she was. Look at that. There's a woman smoking a cigar. Look at that. See, that was unusual at that time. I think it's unusual now. Anybody smoking a cigar, it's unusual now. There we go. Let's see. Look at that ring on that woman. Look at that. See that? She's coming over here. There it is. Okay. What's that? Yeah, it's a cigar. She's smoking a cigar. So this was kind of, that was one of the things that happened in the 20s, and it also happened in the 70s when women made progress. They kind of acted like men. Where they wore men's clothing, and here's a woman smoking a cigar. But I think the whole thing about this is that this scene here is supposed to be the billionaires, right? The oligarchs, whatever, the people who are running, the wealthy people. right? The people who are in power, all that, the industrialists or whatever. And they have an Asian man here, and they have a woman in here. So I mean, this is the 1920s, 1929. So that was really progressive, that was really pretty good. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But then the woman here, there's Frida. Okay, when she gets on the that character, there she is. You see her, what she's wearing there, and her pants are kind of, I don't know what women wore back then, but I mean she's wearing a tie, so it looks very much, and her hair's up. I mean it looks very much like a man's clothing, and that happened in the 20s and it happened in the 70s. Remember Annie Hall? Remember that whole look? Annie Hall wore men's clothing, and it was a kind of a style, at that time for some women. So I do wanted to mention that because that was just, I don't know if I mentioned that or not in the original review, but that was, I thought was kind of, and somebody had mentioned that, when was it? It was another movie that I was reviewing. The same thing. They were showing, it was 1929 movie. It was made in the U.S. But there were men. I mean, there were women who were wearing men's clothing. And when I was doing the stream, one of the chatters had mentioned that and said, "Oh, she's wearing a tie. She's wearing a man's tie." So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because that's something that happened in the 20s and happened in the 70s. I don't think it happened in the Me Too movement. I don't know. I'm kind of out of touch right now, and I'm not paying too much attention to style, clothing styles and stuff. But anyway, so I wanted to mention that. Was there something else that I wanted to mention here? I don't think there was anything else here. I think I covered most of it. Well-made movie. It actually came out pretty good. When I was surprised when I listened back. I did a air check on this stream that I did, and I was doing the sound. I was the music, right? They had, this is a silent movie, right? And I was trying to read the. I don't speak German, right? So I had to figure them out ahead of time, and then trying to say what the intertitles were on this thing. They're all German. Is this screwed up? This is broken now. Right, there we go. See, they're all German. So I don't remember what that one. I don't remember now anymore what that was trying to say. But while the thing was going, I was trying to say what the German intertitles were saying in English. I was saying them in English, and I was also playing music. Trying to find music. I had some of this, Creative Commons music or public domain music or whatever that you download for free. So I was trying to do that at the same time, and at the very beginning it wasn't working too well, but at the end of the thing, I really, like, from this point on, I really had it. It seemed like I was doing really good, and I mean, if I ever cut that stream down and actually do make it into a video, I think I'll just keep most of the ending of that thing. It turned out pretty good. So anyway, so that was that. I wanted to mention that was a thing, that women in the 20s and the 70s dressed as men, and it was like a time when women were making advances, and apparently they thought that they had to act like men or something. I'm not sure. I mean, it wasn't all of them, right? Obviously, but another thing that happened during the 70s, it was late 70s. I think it was 78, 79, somewhere around there. Where the women had dressed like men, and then men started carrying purses, which was really unusual for that time. To have a man carry a purse. It was a short-lived thing. You probably never heard about that. If you're young, you don't know anything about it. If you're my age or older, or then you most likely remember that. But I don't think anybody's talked about that ever for a long time. But that was the thing. Men, not, again, it was maybe 10% or something of the men or whatever, 5% or whatever, started carrying purses, and it was a thing. So there was like some gender fluidity or, experiments with gender and stuff like that back then, trying to get it figured out a little bit. A lot of stuff, a lot of changes in the 60s mostly. They call it the 60s, the revolution of the 60s. Yeah, we had a revolution in the 60s, for those of you who don't know. In the U.S., there was a revolution, and a lot of changes. And it spanned like from the end. I don't know. Most of the changes were from the end of the 50s to the early 70s, something like that. 15, 20 years period, where a lot of the changes happened. But some of the other things were happening. Even just continued even beyond that. But after that, then it was disco and who cares, right? There were no more. That was it. Disco killed everything. All right, then. All right, that's enough of that. Then I wanted to talk about what do I want to talk about? Oh, Justin Trudeau. That's what I do. I don't play that. Let me see if I'm still in sync. I was doing some stuff here. Let me see how I'm still in sync. I don't know if this audio works or not. Yeah, it's working. Okay, we're on the air still. Believe it or not. All right. So, Justin Trudeau, right? I wanted to play a portion of his response to a thing here. All right, let me close this. I don't think I need this open right now. Close that. All right, let's see if I do have that. Look at that. How about that? Okay. So I go here, and I go here. All right, this is going to take a second. This OBS is very... Okay, there we go. All right, so let me transition that. Let's see if you can, if we got audio on that. No, of course not. That'd be too easy.
Et de possibilités des deux côtés de la frontière. Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors.
You know what? Let me just play the whole thing here. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just let this play. This is a government-produced thing. It's published on YouTube. So I don't think there's any copyright issues with this. It's a government thing. So I'm gonna just play the whole. It's really short. 10 minutes or something like that. So I'll play the whole thing and let you listen to it, and then I'll comment on some parts. One particular part that I thought was very interesting. So let's see here.
Choice that yes will met en péril une relation économique. The States informed us they will be imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports to the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. A decision that, should they elect to proceed with, should take effect on Tuesday, February 4th. Cette décision met en péril une relation économique historique. Une relation qui a été la source de tellement de richesses, de prospérité et de possibilités des deux côtés de la frontière. Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery store and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. But it doesn't have to be this way. As President John F. Kennedy said many years ago, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. That rang true for many decades prior to President Kennedy's time in office, and in the decades since. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of the Korean Peninsula, from the fields of Flanders to the streets of Kandahar, we have fought and died alongside you. During your darkest hours, during the Iranian hostage crisis, those 444 days we worked around the clock from our embassy to get your innocent compatriots home. During the summer of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina ravaged your great city of New Orleans, or mere weeks ago, when we sent water bombers to tackle the wildfires in California. During the day the world stood still, September 11th, 2001, when we provided refuge to stranded passengers and planes, we were always there, standing with you, grieving with you, the American people. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us. Canada has critical minerals, reliable and affordable energy, stable democratic institutions, shared values, and the natural resources you need. Canada has the ingredients necessary to build a booming and secure partnership for the North American economy, and we stand at the ready to work together. Let's take a moment to talk about our shared border. Our border is already safe and secure, but there's always more work to do. Less than 1% of fentanyl, less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States come from Canada. But hearing concerns from both Canadians and Americans, including the American president himself, we're taking action. We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada. Des tarifs douaniers de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars de marchandises américaines. Dès mardi, 30 milliards de dollars de produits américains vont être touchés par ces tarifs et dans 21 jours, pour donner le temps aux compagnies canadiennes de trouver des options alternatives, ce sera le cas pour 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus. Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. With all that said, I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment. I'm sure many of you are anxious, but I want you to know we are all in this together. The Canadian government, Canadian businesses, Canadian organized labor, Canadian civil society, Canada's premiers, and tens of millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast are aligned and united. This is Team Canada at its best. Plus tôt aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé avec les premiers ministres de toutes nos provinces et territoires. On est unis et solidaires. Ils ont tous appuyé notre approche. On est aussi alignés pour faire tomber les obstacles qui freinent le commerce entre nos provinces et territoires et rendre ça plus facile pour les consommateurs de choisir des produits de chez nous. Il y a quelques minutes, je me suis entretenu avec Mme Sheinbaum, la présidente du Mexique, notre autre partenaire nord-américain, qui a lui aussi été la cible de tarifs douaniers aujourd'hui. On s'est engagé à travailler ensemble pour y faire face. Il s'agit d'une menace qui vise l'ensemble du pays, et ça m'a fait chaud au cœur de voir autant de nos leaders répondre à l'appel et s'engager pour qu'aucun Canadien ne soit laissé pour compte. Notre gouvernement va être là pour les Canadiens, on va être là pour vous, mais en même temps, j'ai quelque chose à vous demander. Je vous demande d'être solidaires les uns des autres. Beaucoup d'entre nous vont être affectés par tout ça et vont vivre des moments difficiles. Je vous demande d'être là les uns pour les autres, d'être là pour vos amis, vos voisins et vos compatriotes. D'un océan à l'autre, les Canadiens sont très différents. On parle de différentes langues, on a de différentes croyances, on a de différentes opinions, de différentes idées. Mais quand on reste unis, on puise notre force dans cette différence. And now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. C'est le temps de choisir des produits d'ici et d'appuyer des entreprises d'ici, d'appuyer nos producteurs agricoles, nos manufacturiers, nos travailleurs, nos entrepreneurs, nos artistes. It might mean doing all of these things or finding your own way to stand up for Canada. In this moment, we must pull together because we love this country. We pride ourselves on braving the cold during the long winter months. We don't like to beat our chests, but we're always out there, waving the maple leaf loudly and proudly to celebrate an Olympic gold medal. On a notre propre identité, notre propre histoire et nos propres valeurs. Les Canadiens sont accueillants, ouverts, novateurs, ambitieux. On préfère régler nos disputes avec diplomatie, mais on est prêt à se battre quand c'est nécessaire. Canada is home to bountiful resources, breathtaking beauty, and a proud people who've come from every corner of the globe to forge a nation with a unique identity worth embracing and celebrating. We don't pretend to be perfect, but Canada is the best country on earth. There's nowhere else that I and our 41 million strong family would rather be. And we will get through this challenge, just as we've done countless times before, together. Thank you. Merci. Vive le Canada.
All right, so yeah, that was Justin Trudeau. I'm going to play one part here. Where he's talking about their responses to it. Let me bring us back up again here. Okay, he talked about Mexico. President Sheinbaum. She's. This is a big deal for them too. You know. Let me part here. Let's see.
Je vous demande d'être solidaires les uns des autres, solidaires par tout ça, et vont vivre les autres. Différentes opinions. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking.
All right, so he's
to choose.
He's talking to the Canadians directly. Right? What they can do to help out in this war. You know, it's a war effort. Right? It's an economic war, but it's a war effort. And so he's instructing Canadian citizens what they can do. So I'll play that again. Here.
Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. C'est le temps de choisir des produits d'ici et d'appuyer des entreprises d'ici.
Okay, so he's telling Canadians basically boycott USA. Right? He's telling the Canadians to boycott USA. That's what he's telling them to do. And there's actually a worldwide boycott. You've probably heard about it in on mainstream media or whatever, legacy media, probably not. Haven't heard about that too much, but there's a boycott, worldwide boycott. Let me see if I can bring up the Wikipedia article on that. Here it is. So let me make sure that this is Twitch safe here. Okay, it looks like it's Twitch safe. Yeah, okay. Okay. So how's that look? Yeah, you can see that, right? Can you read that? It's kind of small. But let me boost this up a little bit. Let's see, how do I boost this up? How do I make this bigger? Plus here. There we go. You can read it now, huh? Kinda. So there's a boycott that's been on since January. Late January. It started in Croatia, spread to Eastern Europe, and now it's worldwide now. We don't have it here on here, but it's all over Europe, and U.S. everywhere. It's to buoy prices. Right? That's why all these people voted for the guy, right? Because the prices were too high, inflation and all that kind of stuff. So we're doing a boycott. We're not going to buy stuff anymore. We're not going to buy. The wages are too low and the prices is too high. So we're going to stop buying stuff. And so they're doing a boycott of every just only the essentials and stuff like that. So they started calling Eastern Europe, but it's now they're calling Southeast Europe. It's European. It's worldwide now. It's all over. So anyway, that's the thing. You probably haven't heard about that. But there's a boycott going on. So you might want to participate in that. Maybe actually do something about the high prices. Because the guy that you voted for to do something about it is making a hell of a lot worse. You think prices went high over the last year or so. This trade war is going to make prices go sky high. It's going to get really expensive. So it's going to get really bad. And that was the other thing I wanted to show here was the I want to show you the countries their GDP. All right, let me make sure this is Twitch safe, and then we'll bring it up. Yeah, it's Twitch safe. Okay. So we got a list of countries here. This is the Wikipedia page for the list of countries by GDP. And it has us GDP per population. U.S. is not the highest actually. U.S. is down there a little bit. Places like Saudi Arabia, and where were the other ones? Some other ones were Sweden, I think, have a higher GDP per capita. But our GDP is high because we have a lot of people, so we have a high GDP. But so this is per trillion, right? That's $30 trillion per year in gross domestic product. It's an economic metric. And Canada only has two and a half trillion. So a huge difference, you know. So oops, that was the illegal thing. There we go. 2 1/3. There we go. So Trudeau was talking about 155 billion dollars of goods that he's going to put a tariff on U.S. goods coming into Canada. And I figure out a calculator in terms of the percentage of Canada's GDP, it's like 6 or 7%. It's a huge amount. You know. But that percentage of USA's GDP is a lot lower. It's a half a percent or something like that. It's much lower. Because they got we got what 13 times or whatever the GDP then. So it's he was giving his address to the nation. It's a big deal for them. It's going to hurt them. This whole thing is going to hurt them. It's going to hurt us too. We're going to have our prices are going to go up too. So but it's difficult for them to compete in that type of a thing because they're only like one like I said 1/13 or whatever. And Mexico is a little bit less than that even, but not much. They're still pretty good. Mexico has been on a tear lately. They've really come up on their GDP. They used to be ranked way down here. And we're talking about all these countries we're talking about are all in the top 20 here. You know, they're all big countries. This list goes down all the countries. A lot of countries in the world, right? All these countries. A whole bunch of them. So we're talking about this war that's happening between the countries that have the big economic, big economies. So, but I was looking at this, and it looks like if that guy is who's in the Oval Office right now, he wants to do tariffs against China and against Europe and against Canada and Mexico. But if China and Europe and Mexico and Canada decided to team up, they could crush us. You know what I mean? You add those up, it's more than ours. It's more than our GDP. So this strategy is pretty stupid. If they all team up against us, we're sunk. They could crush us. So anyway, that's what's going on there. And so the president actually doesn't have the power to do that anyway, which is really kind of weird. Taxes and the way that they set up taxes, what you probably know about the American Revolution and how our country was formed and all that stuff. And one of the deals was taxes, right? Taxation without representation. That was a big deal. Boston Tea Party, all that. That's actually that's I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, taxes was a big deal. They didn't want to be taxed unless without being represented, without having a say so on that tax. Without having some input, without voting for the guys who are implementing a tax and having all the people behind it. And the process is in order to ensure that. When they wrote this, my little Constitution, this is a better copy of the Constitution. But in the Constitution, the Constitution is the top law, right? It's the law for the U.S. And it has precedent. It has precedent. I mean, it's more. You got to follow the Constitution before you follow any other law in the country, including all the state laws, the local laws, everything. If it conflicts with this, you can't do it. That's how the Constitution works. And one of the main parts of it is in Article 1, where they talk about Congress and the different stuff that Congress can do. They talk about the powers of Congress. You know what? Let me bring this up. I'm going to bring this up on the on the screen here, because I think it would just be. You know, the Constitution's not that hard to read. Everybody should read the Constitution. If you haven't read it in a long time, or if you've never read it, there might be people out there who've never even read it. You should read it. You should read the Constitution. It's very easy to read. It's not that hard. There are a couple words here and there that are kind of confusing, you know, or maybe old language that's not as not as up to date or whatever. But it's very easy to read what it all says here. Okay, here we go. We got it. Let me. Whoops. Okay. All right. Take me a second here to get this thing up here. There we go. Constitution U.S. All right. So Article 1, that's what we're talking about here. Article 1. And I'm going to try to blow this up as much as I can here. Control. Is that what I do? Plus. I forget. Alt. I forget what I'm supposed to do to make this big. I'll do it here. Can you read that now? There it is. Oh yeah. All right. This is Article 1. This is. Remember I was talking about the different articles of the Constitution. There's Article 1, which is the Congress. Article 2 is the President. Article 3 is the Supreme Court. Article 4 is the state. Article 5 is the procedure on how to amend the Constitution. And Article 6 is some miscellaneous stuff. And basically it says this is the highest law in the land. You better follow it. We really mean it this time. All right. So Article 1. Section 8 is the powers that Congress has. Boom. Here it is right here. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, impost excises, to pay the debts. Okay, taxes. A tariff is a tax, by the way. For those of you who don't know, tariff is a tax. It's a tax. The guy who says he's going to lower taxes, first thing he did is raise taxes. Tariff is a tax. When the U.S. was first formed, that was 90% of all the revenue into the U.S. was from tariffs. That's how they taxed. And I think it was like that until they got income tax actually. Anyway, that's so Congress has the power to do that. And let's see if it here it is. All bills for raising revenue. That's taxes. Anything revenue means money. Right. Money coming into the coffers of the U.S. Anything for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives. Okay, but the Congress, the Senate can say their stuff about it. Their stuff. But when it once it passes the House of Representatives, then the Senate has to approve it, and the President signs it, and the President signs law, and it's law. So that's the procedure. That's the procedure. The Constitution says we have to follow. To do a tax, to raise a tax, to lower tax, to increase tax, anything having to do with money, raising anything that gets money into the U.S. has to be start in the House of Representatives, and then follow the regular procedure for a bill. That's how you got to do it. So this idea that the president can unilaterally say he wants to make a tax imports into the country. That's illegal. He can't do that. That's illegal. He can't do that. Constitution says he can't do it. Constitution says he can't. And I'm sure the Supreme Court has addressed this, and I'm sure they I don't know. They're irrelevant. They're irrelevant. They're irrelevant at this point. They're irrelevant at this point. They are. They're just making. They're pulling it out of their ass. They're pulling it out of their ass. They're not following the Constitution. They're not following the Constitution anymore. So that's illegal. If they wanted to change the procedure. They're saying that what happened was the Congress years ago passed a law that said president can impose a tariff, and then after the president imposes the tariff, the Congress can vote and say whether it's good or not. But that's not how it's done. It doesn't originate with the president. It has to originate with the House of Representatives. That's what the Constitution says. If they want to amend the Constitution and change that procedure and say, let's change the Constitution so that the president can raise taxes and the Congress can concur or vote yes or no on it or whatever. All right, they could do that. But that's an amendment to the Constitution. They're changing the Constitution. You can't do that. They can't do that unless they go through that whole procedure outlined in the fifth Article 5, where in order to amend the Constitution, Congress proposes the amendment, and they give it to the states, and each of the states have to ratify it, blah blah blah. Right? That's a whole process. The whole process that has to happen. They can't just Congress can't just unilaterally change the Constitution like that. So it's illegal. What he's doing is illegal. What he's doing is surprise, right? And it's a tax. What he's doing is a tax. So all you MAGA folks out there, your buddy you voted for there, first thing he did is he raised taxes. He's raising taxes. And we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay big time for that. It's going to cost so much. Prices of things are going to skyrocket. We're going to have shortages. It's going to be a big mess. And lots of inflation. And it's really hard. It's really hard for people like me. Who, I'm just on Social Security. And they cut Social Security, by the way. They're not reporting on that. You probably didn't hear about that, did you? Last year we had last year there's huge inflation, right? It got up to 8% at one point, and there's lots of inflation, right? That's why people were upset with Biden, because one of the reasons was because of inflation. Why they voted for this other joker. Prices are going up too high. Inflation. It was up to 8%. You know how much they raised Social Security? What was it? 2.3%. Or 2.5%. 2.3, I think it was. Percent is how much they raised my Social Security. So all my food, the food has gone up, 8% or 10% or whatever. All this stuff is going up. All prices are going up. My electric bill is doubled, And they raised my Social Security 2%. That's a cut. Okay, that's a cut. If inflation goes up 8% and you raise and then you give a cost of living of 2%, all right, that's a cut. You're cutting Social Security by doing that. And I'm sure they have some way, they do some rigmarole or whatever where they try to, pick every third Tuesday or whatever to get the statistic for what they think what the cost of living should be. But it's a cut. They cut Social Security. And now we're going to go through it again. Here we are at the beginning of the year. I won't get another, nobody on Social Security is going to get another increase until next January. But meanwhile, this asshole started a trade war, and all our food and everything is going to go up, and we're going to be hurting. It's going to be a mess. So anyway, I don't think he's going to finish out his term. He probably won't even get to the midterms, but we'll see. GDP of countries. Okay, so I did all that stuff. What else was I going to do? There's something else I was going to do, and I can't remember what I was going to do. Oh, this thing, yeah. All right, let's talk about some other stuff here. You probably don't want to. I'm doing this stream at 8 o'clock here. For those of you who are watching on the VOD, that's what the title of the stream is called, Ghosting POTUS. To chat about anything, whatever. Just talk about anything I want. But the idea is to counter program, right? To have chat. And there are a lot of streamers who are out there who are streaming stuff. And I'm sure there are a lot of counter programming on TV and everything else for people who don't want to watch that guy. I think it's a good idea. I think we should ghost the guy. I think we should just not listen to him at all, because that's where he gets all his power. Anyway, all right, enough of that. So I'll talk about something else I want to do. I was thinking about doing a project with these puppets. Wind puppets, or what are they called? Let me look this up here. I think it's called a wind puppet. Let me type in wind puppet into my thing here. Let's see if that's what comes up. Oh, shit. No. Let's see if Google knows. That guy didn't know. Maybe Google knows. Wind puppet. There we go. Okay, they call them a. All right, this is Twitch safe, I think. So here's these are the wind. You've seen these guys, right? Stores, car dealers, and all that. What do they call them? Here's what is that inflatable man called? The tube man, also known as a sky dancer, hair dancer. Anyway, I thought this was. They're not very environmentally friendly if you're going to use them. 20, run them all day. That's a waste of energy. Do that. That's not good. But I wanted to make a miniature one. And I looked up a long time ago, years ago maybe. I looked up, and some people have tried to do that, videos of it and stuff. And I wanted to try to do that because I found this fan here. This is a blower type fan, but it runs on 12 volts. And when I hook it up to 12 volts, it blows pretty good, almost like a hair dryer. Maybe not as much as a hair dryer, but anyway, I thought that might be. Oh, I've got tape over it. That's probably why it wasn't working too well. It's got tape. This is the inlet, and this is the outlet. So that's probably why it's not working. Tape on there. But anyway, I wanted to see if I could take the output from this blower here and somehow fashion one of those little puppets and maybe hook this up to a solar panel, so that when the sun comes up, the man, little sock pop, what do they call it? Tube man? I don't know what they call it. But sky dancer. So he would, when the sun comes up, then he would start dancing around. I think that would be fun. That would be a fun project to do. So that's something I'm thinking about doing. Hook this thing up to, I don't know, some plastic thing or something. I don't know. I'll figure out what to do. And then hook the power up to the solar panel. And then when the sun comes up in the morning, then that little man will start dancing around. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a fun project to do. And it would be more environmentally friendly than these other guys, because I'm sure they're wasting a lot of, putting a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere. I'm 100% renewable now, so I'm good. My electricity comes from hydro, I guess, or something. I don't know if that's hydro locally here. Yeah, if Canada cuts off our hydro, I don't know what that's going to do to my source of electricity if it comes from. I locked in my price, so I should be okay. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Canada does that. Canada could cut off our hydropower, and then we'd be, hurting. So anyway, that's something I wanted to do. I think it'd be fun to do. But anyway, I'm 100% renewable now. I'm 100%. All my electricity comes from either solar or hydro now. And or I got some actually coming from geothermal. Some of my energy, not electricity, but technically, I've got some energy coming from geothermal because I've got my heat pump is pulling some heat from the ground, and I've got the I'm gonna have a basement, and some of the heat from the ground is coming through the basement when it gets really cold. So I'm set. I'm not putting any CO2 in the air. Except what I breathe and when I burn the papers. But that's I burn papers instead of putting them into the landfill because I think that makes more sense. As long as I don't put a lot of particulate into the air, I think it's okay. I think that's a better way to go because your paper trash is gonna decompose anyway, and the ground's gonna release the CO2 anyway. It might take a couple of years, but it's still going to happen. So I think this is better doing it this way, burning it, and I can use the ash I sprinkle ash out on the snow to melt the snow rather than use sand because that's not good. For a lot of reasons, that's not good to put sand all over the place, or salt. Even worse. That's even worse. So anyway, what else was I going to do? Oh yeah, I did a stream on vegan. I called it Vegan Prepper. I was the stream before this one I did I titled it "Am I a Vegan Prepper?" and I went through all my stuff that I did for making sure I was ready in case there's interruptions to food supplies and stuff like that. Everybody should do that. check out my stream or check out other people's whatever on how to get prepared for emergencies because things are getting unsettled. So it's probably better for you to do that, to make sure that you're prepared for that. You've got food and water and all that, to eat. To keep yourself alive in case there's some sort of disruption in the supply lines and stuff like that. Anyway, so I titled my video, "Are you a vegan?" Yeah. Oh no. Am I a vegan prepper? That's what it was. Am I a vegan prepper? It's kind of funny because preppers, the stereotype or whatever, the idea that people have about preppers are these guys who wear camo and carry AR-15 and and all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm not like that. I don't dress in camo and I don't carry an AR-15. I'm a vegan, so saying vegan prepper is kind of funny. And after I did the stream a few days later, I thought, because I'd gone to YouTube and did a search for prepper, just to show people, they're all wearing fatigues and all that, blah, blah, blah. But then later, after my stream, I thought, I wonder if there anybody else who was vegan prepper, who had that same idea that I had. And of course there was. There were a ton of people out there who put vegan prepper in the title of their thing. And there was one out there called, the name of their channel is Vegan Prepper. That's the name of their channel. So I thought, that was kind of funny. I subscribe to their channel, of course, right? They haven't put anything up in a few months, so maybe they're out. I don't know. But they had some really good, much better videos than what I did. Much better stuff, how to be prepared and all this kind of stuff. There's some different ideas on some stuff, but but yeah, you should do that. You should check out my video, right? I gotta promote myself, right? But check out videos on, or whatever you like to do, maybe you like to read or whatever, just to find out what you need to do to get prepared and have enough food to keep yourself alive for, 6 months or something, or 3 months, I don't know, 4 to 6 months, something like that, or a year. I know some people do it for a year. Basically, my idea is that I want to keep enough food around to keep myself alive until the next spring, so I can plant food if I had to. If there was a long-term disruption. Mostly when there are disruptions like that, they're not, year long or years long or whatever. But it could be, right? So, but the idea, my idea was just to try to keep enough food to keep myself alive until the next spring, so I could plant food or summer, whenever I could get to a harvest, and that way I could continue to stay alive or whatever. I mean, if it got to that point, there would be it depends upon where you live or what's going on, but people would get at least organized locally, I would imagine, get their stuff together and all that, have like joint farms or whatever, so, and there's a lot more to it than just food too, right? You got food and water and medicine, if you have medicine that you need, and you should probably talk to your doctor about that. What kind of how much of your medicine can you store? Maybe stick it in the refrigerator or freezer, whatever. I don't know. It depends on what medicine you're taking, right? So you should probably talk to your doctor about that. How to keep your extra medicine around in case of an emergency. And food and water and lights. Make sure you have some way to power your lights. Pretty good to have a solar panel or two around to make your own electricity. With a battery or something like that, because you're not going to be able to go to a store and buy new batteries for your flashlight if there's a big disruption, right? If something happens, the stores will be out of batteries before the next day, right? They'll be gone. So you should have your own batteries around, but you should also have a way of charging things up. Cell phones, you might not be able to use your cell phone, so that's something to think about too. Communication. Some are get into ham radio and everything else, and I don't know if that's necessary or not. Maybe it is. I don't know. But the other thing that you got to do. Let me get this here. You got to make sure you stock up on these guys. I showed a elastomeric respirator, but you got to have these masks, right? And you should be wearing these masks anyway. We're in a pandemic. You should be wearing a mask whenever you're in public right now, because a lot of people are dying from COVID. So that's something you should do. And you should have some of these spares, of these things around, enough to last. These last a long time, as long as you're not wearing them 24/7 or whatever. If you only wear these occasionally, if you once a week or whatever, you go to the grocery store or whatever, and if there's a pandemic or if there's an emergency like that, there might not be stuff you can buy in a store anyway. So, but you need to have these if you're going to be around other people, and you might not be able to buy these in an emergency situation. So you should have your own stock of these, all the time. Even if everybody, that's something. When we had the pandemic, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. They screwed up so bad. They killed over 1 million Americans. Yeah. But if everybody had some of these before the pandemic, if everybody had some of these stored away in their little emergency kit, the epidemic never would have taken hold in the U.S. It wouldn't have happened. They would have announced that because people were, when they told people to wear masks, 90% of the people or all over the country were wearing masks. I don't know if you remember that or not, but they were. When the pandemic first hit, they were wearing a mask, but they were wearing those goddamn cloth masks because those idiots at the CDC told everybody to wear cloth masks, which are virtually useless. They don't work. You got to use an N95. This N95, it has a special filter in it that filters out the tiny particles that the virus rides on. So you got to have one of these. But anyway, going back to that, if everybody would have had, or not even, most people, if 70% of the people or 60% of the people would have had these in their homes, in their emergency kits, when that pandemic hit, everybody could have put the mask on, the people who had them, and the epidemic would not have taken hold in the U.S. Nearly all of those people who died, those were preventable deaths. Everybody who dies today, we got 100 and something people. Let me check that out. Let's see what the how many people are dying right now from COVID, just to take a look, just so we can see. I'll get an update thing here. So here's the COVID page. Oh shit! Do they have it here? Oh, did they get rid of it? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Let's see if there's. Okay, they're making me click another thing here. All right, so where are we at here? February. Whoops. So yeah, here we are. February 1st, 850 per week. So over 100 a day. Yeah. We were over 1,000 a couple weeks ago. Month ago. So yeah, over 100 people. This is just COVID. We also got a flu thing going on, right? People maybe half as much. I don't know how many are dying from flu. But yeah, people die from flu too. So yeah, that's a lot of people. Each week. 800, 900. These are preliminary. It always goes down. It always looks like it's going down. And I'm sure they do that intentionally to make it look like it's going down, but it's not. It's up. It's going to be up, flat or going up. Or close to what these are. So we're at 800, 1,000, 970, 900, 850. So that's how many people are dying each just from COVID. And all those deaths are all of them are preventable. If those people would have been wearing one of these masks, they would not have died. They wouldn't have caught it. And for everybody who dies, that's another thing. For every person who dies, there are 10 or 15 who get COVID really bad, and it hurts them. It shaves years off their life, or they end up with long COVID or whatever. So it's a big deal. You got to wear your mask whenever you go out in public. And you should have extras of these things in your emergency stash or whatever, so that in case we have some kind of an emergency, you can have masks to wear. We could have another pandemic. What if we had a pandemic that had a 90% kill rate? 9 out of 10 people who get infected die. Then what are you going to do? If you don't have these, there'd be a run on them, and if 9 out of 10 people are dying from a pandemic, I guarantee you our supply chain is going to break down. We're not going to, everything will break down. There won't be enough people to make stuff work. There won't be enough people to drive the trucks. There won't be enough people to do anything. Then what are you going to do, right? You got to have a stock of these things, and it has to say N95 on it right here. Oh, you can see that it says N95. It has to say NIOSH, NIOSH, and it has to have these straps that go all the way around your head like this. You can't use those ones that have the little ear loops. Those are no good. Don't wear those, because they might not protect you as well as these do. I should do a whole stream on these things. Why these are different. Because they don't work like a filter. They don't work like a sieve. That's not how it works. It works like it doesn't work like a screen. Like a screen that would screen out bugs or something like that. That's not how it works. It works like a whole bunch of strands of double stick tape or something, and or it works like a if there were a bunch of spider webs instead of like a screen that just keeps the bugs from coming through. Imagine if there were 100 layers of spider webs, and maybe the bug can get through the first few spider webs going in between, but eventually they're going to get stuck. That's how these work. So it's not like a filter. The bug, imagine like a little mosquito or some small bug that's able to go through very easily the spider web in between the webs. But if there were so many webs stacked up on each other, the bug, even if it was trying to avoid it, it's gonna hit one of them eventually and stick to it. And that's how this works. It uses electrostatic force to have the particles stick to those fibers inside there. That's how it works. I'll do a whole thing on this. Maybe that's one I can do here pretty soon. We've got it's going to be warm weather, I think. I don't know. Weather reports have been pretty screwed up lately. Today they said it was going to be all sunny. So I said, "Oh, great! I'll heat up the house and then I'll be able to do my stream." But it didn't heat up. I had to take extraordinary measures to try to get this room heated up enough without wasting a bunch of energy. Anyway, it's about 13 degrees now, so it's bearable to do a stream. But yeah, I'll do that. I think I'll do a stream on that, on how these things actually work. I think that'd be interesting to people. Anything. Unfortunately, if I put it on YouTube, virtually anything that has to do with these masks gets screened out at YouTube for some reason. YouTube doesn't want. I don't know. I don't know if they want people to die. I don't know why they do that. YouTube screens out anything that anytime I post anything, a comment, anything, they erase the comment. If I put a video up there, they shadow ban it or whatever, or don't promote it. So I don't know what the hell the thing is there. I guess they want more Americans to die. I guess I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. All right, so I think that was it. Yeah, that's it. All right, so I'll think about something else to do on my next stream, and I'll probably do, what's today, Tuesday? I'll probably do some more streams this week because it's going to be warm. Maybe tomorrow, next day, or something like that. I'll do some more streams. And make sure you give me a follow. I'm getting close to the point where I can try to be what do they call it, associate or whatever on Twitch. They have these different levels and stuff to try to get, retention, right? They want more people on their site and they want to stay there. And so they have these different goals and stuff that the streamers can do. But I got to get affiliate to make a lot of the things work on the stream. Yeah, if you're watching this on the VOD, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but you know, they have a chat facility, and there are a whole bunch of things that I can't do right now very well. I can do chat, but there are a lot of features and stuff like that that make my stream better if I'm able to do them, but I can't do them because I'm not affiliate. So the only way I can get to be affiliate is if I get more followers and more people watching the channel. And if you're watching this on Twitch on a replay on Twitch, please consider coming to the channel when I'm live, because I don't have enough people coming to the channel when I'm live to do chat and make it more interactive. And I think that would make it would just make the stream better if you could do that. So if you're watching this on a VOD, please consider. Well, of course, make sure you follow me, right? You hit the follow button. But you know, make sure you have notifications on and all that, so that when I go live, you can come and chat and stuff, and I think it would make the stream a little bit better. And if you're watching it on the VOD on YouTube, yeah, give me a follow over there. They don't call it follow; they call it subscribe on YouTube. It's kind of confusing here on YouTube. Here on Twitch, a subscription is a paid thing. You got to pay if you want to subscribe to a channel. You got to pay, but you can follow somebody. But on YouTube, if you want to follow somebody, they call it a subscription, but it's free. So it's kind of confusing. Anyway, so yeah, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. I'm at doubletribble-yt. And so yeah, and if you're already following me on YouTube, if you can get over to Twitch and give me a follow, and vice versa, if you're here on Twitch, get over to YouTube and give me a subscribe, and then you know how that works, right? You cross promote and all that kind of stuff, and it makes the whole thing better. All right, so thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Don't forget to wear your mask. Take care. Be prepared. And ghost that guy. Don't watch. Don't listen to him. Don't watch it. If he comes on TV or whatever, change the channel. Don't watch that stuff. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. All right. Take care. Bye.